What if the most impactful decision Queen Elizabeth ever made wasn't found in a law or a public decree, but in a hidden clause of a private will that the world was never supposed to see? In early 2026, a series of revelations has sent shockwaves through the palace, suggesting that the late queen didn't just leave behind a legacy, she left a specific multi-million-dollar instruction that completely bypassed the future king and the queen consort. At the center of this storm is Lady Louise Windsor, the quiet 22-year-old student who many are now calling the queen's true successor. While the world was focused on the drama in California or the health of King Charles, Elizabeth was playing a much longer game. She chose to entrust her most private sanctuary to a young woman who had spent her life staying out of the headlines. But as we're finding out, this wasn't just a gift. It was a calculated move to protect the monarchy from the very people currently sitting at its head. To understand why this inheritance is causing such a stir in 2026, you have to look at the unique bond between a grandmother and her youngest granddaughter. Lady Louise was born into the royal family under circumstances that were anything but a fairy tale. Born 8 weeks premature in an emergency surgery that nearly took the life of her mother, Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, Louise entered the world as a fighter. She was born with esotropia, a condition where the eyes don't align, which led to years of scrutiny and public commentary. But where the world saw a frail royal Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip saw something else: resilience. They saw a girl who didn't want the spotlight, a girl who worked at a local garden center for minimum wage during her summer breaks, and a girl who truly understood what duty meant. While other grandchildren were making headlines for all the wrong reasons, Louise was at Balmoral quietly learning the art of carriage driving from Prince Philip himself. This wasn't just a hobby, it was a passing of the torch. When Philip passed away in 2021, it was Louise who inherited his favorite carriage and ponies. But that was just the beginning. The Queen saw in Louise a reflection of her own younger self, conscientious, private, and deeply loyal. Balmoral is often described as the royal family's favorite playground, but in 2026 it has become a battlefield of property and pride. Most people think of Balmoral as one big castle, but the 50,000-acre estate is actually home to dozens of private residences, some of which are so secluded they don't even appear on official maps. For decades, it was rumored that the Queen had a favorite retreat, a small, unassuming cottage far from the main house where she could truly be herself. Recent reports suggest that this specific property, along with a significant private endowment, was left directly to Louise. This is a massive deal because Balmoral is one of the few properties the royals own personally rather than through the Crown estate. This means the Queen could leave it to whoever she pleased. By choosing Louise over senior royals like Princess Anne, or even the Queen consort, Elizabeth sent a message that still rings through the halls of Windsor today. It wasn't about rank, it was about who she trusted to keep her secrets. This secret estate represents a safe haven for the future of the family, a place that is legally untouchable by the bureaucracy of the monarchy. As we move further into 2026, the power dynamic within the family has shifted dramatically. With King Charles scaling back his public duties, Prince William has taken an increasingly firm hand in managing the family's private affairs. And surprisingly, he has become Lady Louise's biggest advocate. Insiders say William was instrumental in ensuring the legal transitions for Louise's inheritance went through without a hitch. Why would the future king do this? It's all about the long game. But William has seen the damage that can be done when younger royals feel abandoned or pushed out. We've all seen the fallout from California. By securing Louise's place, William is building a new guard. He's surrounding himself with people he can trust, people who have shown they can handle the pressure without seeking the spotlight. By protecting Louise's inheritance, William isn't just honoring his grandmother, he's securing a loyal ally for his own future reign. He knows that when he becomes king, he'll need a circle of trust that doesn't include the scandals of the past. But where there is inheritance, there is inevitably tension. In the gossip-fueled environment of 2026, rumors of a rift between Queen Camilla and the Edinburgh family have become impossible to ignore. The core of the issue, the exclusion of the Queen consort from these private trust arrangements. While Camilla holds the highest female rank in the land, the Queen's private will reportedly kept certain personal assets and properties strictly within the bloodline. This has allegedly caused a frosty atmosphere behind palace walls. It's no secret that the Queen's relationship with Camilla was complex for decades, rooted in the turmoil of the 1990s and the pain of the late Princess of Wales. By leaving such a significant piece of her heart and her estate to Louise, some see it as Elizabeth's final silent commentary on who she truly considered the heart of the family. The tension isn't just about money, it's about legacy. In the royal world, property is power, and the fact that a 22-year-old student holds a key to Balmoral that the Queen Consort does not is a stinging reality for some. As we approach the summer of 2026, all eyes are on St. Andrews. Lady Louise is finishing her degree in English literature, but it's her extracurricular activities that have the world talking. Her involvement in the University Officers Training Corps has been more than just a college credit. She has been seen in full camouflage leading drills and participating in rigorous training exercises. There is a very real possibility that after graduation, Louise will announce she is joining the military full-time. If she does, she will be the first female royal since Queen Elizabeth herself to serve in the armed forces. This isn't just a career choice, it's a PR masterstroke. In an era where the monarchy is often criticized for being out of touch, a young woman serving her country is exactly what the institution needs. It mirrors the Queen's own service during World War II, creating a powerful visual link between the past and the future. This is the secret weapon the palace has been waiting for, a royal who is relatable, hardworking, and deeply traditional. The contrast between Lady Louise's rise and the sidelining of other family members couldn't be sharper in 2026. Just this past January, the news was dominated by the final relocation of Prince Andrew from Royal Lodge to a much smaller property on the Sandringham estate. The message from the King and William was clear. The era of royal perks for those who bring the family into disrepute is over. While some are being pushed out, Louise is being pulled in. She represents the unscandalized branch of the family. She hasn't written a tell-all book, she hasn't done explosive interviews, and she hasn't been linked to any shady business deals. She is the blank slate the monarchy needs. By giving her the inheritance and the platform, the family is signaling a total shift in values. They are moving away from the celebrity royal model and back to the service model. Louise is the physical embodiment of that shift. So, what does all of this tell us about the future of the crowned queen? Elizabeth was a woman of few words, but her actions always spoke volumes. By choosing Lady Louise Windsor as the guardian of her most private estate, she was telling the world that the future of the monarchy doesn't just lie with the people who wear the crowns, it lies with the people who uphold the values. As we watch Louise graduate and potentially step into a more prominent role in late 2026, we're seeing the fruition of a plan that was years in the making. The Queen's will wasn't just about distributing property, it was about ensuring that her spirit of duty lived on in the grandchild who resembled her most. It's a story of a hidden inheritance, a protective future king, and a young woman who might just be the most important royal of her generation. While the world focuses on the public rooms of Balmoral, a far more significant mystery is unfolding in a remote corner of the estate known as the Grey House. In early 2026, palace workers have reported an unusual amount of activity at this secluded stone structure. It's not a guest house, and it's not for staff. Sources claim this was Queen Elizabeth's private vault of secrets, a place where she moved her most sensitive personal diaries, correspondence, and historically significant artifacts during the final years of her life. By leaving this property specifically to Lady Louise through a complex private trust, the Queen didn't just give her a home, she gave her the keys to the monarchy's true history. This move has reportedly caused a massive rift with Queen Camilla. The Queen Consort, who has worked for decades to polish her public image, is said to be deeply unsettled by the fact that a 22-year-old now holds the documents that could potentially reopen the wounds of the 1990s. Louise isn't just an heir to a building. She is now the keeper of the family's most guarded truths, acting as a final check and balance against anyone who might try to rewrite the past. The rise of Lady Louise can only be understood by looking at the total collapse of another royal branch. February 2026 marked the ultimate end of the road for the York family. After years of legal battles and public shame, the news of Andrew's arrest on suspicion of misconduct in public office sent the monarchy into its biggest constitutional crisis in a generation. As police searched the damp, neglected rooms of Royal Lodge, the contrast was devastating. While one royal was being driven away in the back of a police vehicle, his niece Louise was being celebrated as the new face of duty. By stripping the Yorks of their last vestiges of royal protection, King Charles and Prince William have effectively cleared the path for Louise. She is the clean break the monarchy desperately needs. In the eyes of the palace strategists, Louise is the anti-scandal, the proof that the Windsor bloodline can still produce a leader who values service over self-interest. The fall of the Yorks wasn't just a tragedy for them, it was the necessary space needed for Louise to emerge as the chosen grandchild. As we approach the summer of 2026, the atmosphere at the University of St. Andrews is electric. Lady Louise is set to graduate, but the ceremony is just the beginning of her real journey. Her time in the University Officers Training Corps, UOTC, has transformed her from a quiet student into a disciplined leader. Reports from inside the training camp describe her as a natural, someone who doesn't mind getting her hands dirty or sleeping in the mud during intensive field exercises. If she follows through with her rumored plan to join the military full-time after graduation, she will become the first female member of the royal family to serve in the armed forces since Queen Elizabeth herself during World War II. This isn't just a career path, it's a powerful psychological connection to the public. In 2026, the monarchy is often viewed as a relic of the past, but a soldier princess who can command a platoon and maintain her own equipment changes the entire narrative. She is reviving the Elizabethan standard of leadership, leading from the front with grit and quiet determination. While the official line of succession remains unchanged, a quiet coup is happening behind the scenes in 2026. Prince William, increasingly frustrated by the delays in modernizing the monarchy, has begun to rely on Louise as a key strategic partner. Insiders say William views Louise as the missing piece in his new firm. With Princess Catherine focusing on her health and her children, and the king's schedule limited by his ongoing cancer treatments, there is a massive leadership vacuum at the top. William's decision to involve Louise in high-level discussions and his reported defense of her secret inheritance suggest he is positioning her as a future counselor of state, in all but name. This has led to intense palace standoffs with senior courtiers who believe the family should stick to the traditional hierarchy. But William is playing a different game. He knows that to survive the monarchy needs a generation of royals who are untouchable by the tabloids. Louise, with her military training and her grandmother's seal of approval, is that untouchable asset. As we look at the final picture of the British monarchy in late 2026, the message of Queen Elizabeth's will is finally clear. She knew that the crown's survival wouldn't be won in the headlines or at state banquets, but in the quiet choices made behind closed doors. By giving Lady Louise a fortress in the Highlands and the keys to the family's private history, she ensured that the spirit of her 70-year reign would endure. Louise represents the best of us, a royal who worked for minimum wage, who stayed loyal to her grandfather in his final days, and who chose service over celebrity. As she prepares to step out of the university gates and potentially into the ranks of the British Army, she carries more than just a name. She carries the weight of a 1,000-year-old institution on her shoulders. The inheritance of a small cottage at Balmoral was never about the real estate. It was a final, brilliant move by a queen who knew exactly who could be trusted to carry the torch when the lights went out. In the end, the secret inheritance of Lady Louise Windsor is about more than just a cottage in Scotland or a bank account in London. It's a testament to the power of staying quiet in a world that can't stop talking. Queen Elizabeth knew that the crown's survival depended on its ability to evolve while staying rooted in its core values. By empowering Louise, she gave the monarchy a chance to start fresh, away from the controversies that have plagued the last few decades. Whether Louise becomes a full-time working royal or a dedicated officer in the British Army, her influence is already being felt. The Queen's final move on the royal chessboard was a brilliant one, and we're only just beginning to see how the game ends. But what do you think, was the Queen right to bypass senior royals for her favorite granddaughter? Or is this secret inheritance creating a rift that the family can't repair? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the secrets of the palace.